maybe. And so
And I'm gonna mute myself.
Yeah, so actually I'll let you know that for all of you that you are on, your mic is on, you can mute it, but this will be interactive, and it's the Hankers, and I want to hear from you guys on all the wonderful and amazing things that have happened in your life in the past couple of weeks. That we were just talking with Brenda, and she was sharing that she said, yeah, she used some of these teachings, and so she decided to. This one client who was a difficult client, wasn't fun to be with, and wasn't harmonious, and she decided, you know what, I'm going to see if this really works, and so she thought differently. And when you think differently and think about what you do want, how do you want this to turn out? And so always the question is, yeah, how do I want to have this turn out? And when you ask that question, and then you'll start getting answers. And so today is going to be a remarkable day for us. We're going to learn the 3 principles of life that as you start recognizing them, that they really will powerfully impact, and you'll be able to trump all your old beliefs that no longer are the truth, and you just thought they were the truth because other people told you it, and then once you believed that it was the truth, then sure enough it happened because it's done unto us as we believe. And then we're going to get into some strategic thinking, and that's going to be with monthly planning, and really to live more in this green zone where we're thinking about what we want, and we're doing it very intentionally and very deliberately. But before we begin into the session itself, first of all, I wanted to recognize our sponsors, and again, Cindy Porter, and she's just the best mortgage lady and loan officer, and I know she's been helping some of you, but we thank them for sponsoring this, and paying for your assessment and the room and the food and all the other stuff before that will be on the webinar this week and next week. But again, that they have paid for that, and so we want to give them some business. So if you can give Cindy back some business, that would be great. And then PSS Title, and we already had one of our participants, Robin, use PSS Title because she couldn't get title from any other title company. And she went to PSS Title, and not only did they give her title, but they also found that there was attached to the property a $50,000 lien that was actually inaccurate, and it shouldn't be attached to the property. And so it saved the customer the client selling the home, $50,000. So they were not only able to get the title, but they were able to save $50,000, and they were able to close on their home that they were selling. And so these are, again, the vendors that I have, they're the best in the business, and like PSS Title by far is the best title that I know in Texas. And then Advanced Rewards Funding, and we thank them for their sponsorship with this, and Top Performers, and to help all of us to become our greatest possibility. And what they do is they give you money, and basically that you can get your money up front. If you have a buy-sell agreement, that they'll go ahead and lend you money, and they'll do it about 1/4 the cost of normal companies. These are called factoring companies. And so, like, for example, if you just got a good neighborhood where you have a listing, and you want to get, or you had a buyer come into that neighborhood, and you want to market that neighborhood, and you want some cash, you can get it up front. And so there's $3,000 you can get, and it just costs you $250. And if you get one more listing, who cares about that? That you can really build your business. So again, we thank our vendors for their help. And let's get into us, though, and I'd like to have all you guys share on that who has something that happened. That's, again, I have you all off, and so your mics are on. You just would need to turn on your mic. But I'd like to hear what out of the blue experience you had, what business you had, something personally that you have, but what delightful, miraculous thing has happened in your life within the last 2 weeks. And any of you can go ahead and speak up. Come on now.
Hey, Hank. Okay, it's Chris. I'll go.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, so I've had my best week ever in terms of agent attraction, really working that and everything, and it's just everything's kind of all of a sudden starting to really gel and everything. So that's really good. And then also, I don't know if it's, not anything that's what I did, but, I just liquidated my first apartment investment. That was a good windfall, and, it was definitely a blessing to me. So
that's fantastic. Yeah, well, that's great, Chris, and I love on how I know you're a good student, if you will, and you're really doing this and incorporating this, and then that's what happens every time. It just has to. It's the law on that. Are doing your joy shop in the morning and being more deliberate and asking for just miracles, and so start expanding your imagination and asking for that. That's awesome, Chris.
Oh, thank you. Good.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else want to share? Oh, come on, you guys. I know some of you that are on the line had remarkable things, but that again, and we heard from Brenda on how you can change people, and we have this belief. We've been told this before that actually that we don't. Hey, Chris, can you turn off your mic, please? I think.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. And so for all of us, and again, this is interactive, so you guys can, if you have any questions or comments as we get going here, that I'd love to, you can just go ahead and unmute yourself and talk, and then mute yourself after we get done talking. And so, so let's say hello, Barbara. She just arrived, and welcome, and we got lots of you on the line, and so this is Virtual Top Performers, and this section is prioritizing your life or someone else will. And so we all know on how that can happen where we end up not getting the things that we want. And so today we're going to talk about the 3 principles of life. And we're going to look at strategic thinking, prioritizing our lives, and monthly planning, and really living our life, our soul's life. And so this is probably a new concept to you, but again, before you came here, that you, and when I say you, it's your greater self, and it's your soul, that you said you couldn't wait to come back here and go from the non-physical into the physical, and you had such a great desire that you were able to do that. And before you went, though, that you had, some things that you wanted to be able to experience here on this earth, because this world is just a magnificent world. It has everything that we want and everything that we don't want. And for us to be really focused on the things that we do want, and but we can only have that if we brush up against the contrast of things that we don't like, that bursts the ideas of what we do want. So that's why you want to bless everything. And so you and your soul basically had 3 overall objectives. First of all, you wanted to have more growth, and you wanted to have expansion. And when you expand all that is, that what happens is that that God, if you will, the universe, whatever word you want to use, that is just happy and delighted, because the mantra for God is more. And so you wanted more growth, and you're all doing that, whether or not you're living a very good life or not, you're still experiencing that growth, because God literally picks up your signal. And remember, on how life plays that we talked about last time, is that your thought creates this energy. So whatever you're thinking about creates this energy, and then that energy is sent up to God, and God immediately receives it and answers it, and it's just an energy form. And so for you to be aware of that it's an energy form, I now have to allow it into my experience. And that's why I say I want you to start thinking about having some miracles in your life. I don't care how it's been before. I don't care how long it's been, that for you to stand up tall and say, hey, I'm this miraculous creator, and I want some more miracles, and I want just amazing things coming out. I want more money. I want more laughter. I want better and deeper, more meaningful relationships. And as you start thinking about, because God can't give you anything that you haven't thought about. And so you need to be able to think about, hey, what is it that I do want? And that as you start thinking about, I want more miracles in my life, that miracles will come into your life. And so again, with your soul, that you basically wanted to have more growth. You also wanted to have more of the energy of freedom. And so to have more freedom. And so all of you have done that because you're real estate agents, that you're, independent contractors, which means you don't have corporate America to answer to or whatever. And so you're expressing that freedom, and you're getting more and more freedom. And most of you are with EXP, and that is absolutely the newest, best model that there is for real estate agents that'll give you more freedom. And that freedom includes, more business with leads. That freedom includes more money. And I even have a new leads program that I'm rolling out to you guys. And so next Monday we'll be training. Some of you have already actually been through that training, but next Monday we'll be training for those of you that have signed up and indicated what areas that you want. And that's, an 18% close. I mean, about 1 out of 5 deals that you're going to get, that you're going to close, and you're going to make, you should be able to easily make $9,000 more per month. Well, that's more freedom again. And so that's what we want to be able to really express and start to recognize it. Wow, I'm doing, that's why you feel so good. It's those times when you feel so good, it's that your soul is telling you, hey, this really is great because this is what we were here for. And so, and then the last thing, the third thing, so growth, we came here for more growth. We came here for more freedom. And then the prize of all is more joy. And so just be thinking and ask for, I want to have more joy in my life. And I would write that down, in fact, that I think it's just critical for all of you. And again, I'm catching your vibes on what you're, needing to hear. And so we're completely off the agenda, if you will, like we are every week, guys. And but to write down that, yeah, what do I want? I want more joy in my life. I want more freedom in my life. I want more money in my life. And let me just get on a roll here that I'm going to channel some things here on this abundance and this idea of you being abundant. And so maybe I would suggest that you write this down, that I now release the gold mine within me. I now release the gold mine within me. And I am linked with an endless stream of prosperity which comes to me under grace in perfect ways. And I mean, isn't that just sweet? Again, I'll read that again, say that what was it? I now release the gold mine within me. I'm linked with this stream of prosperity which comes to me under grace and in perfect ways. I love that. And things like my supply is endless, inexhaustible, and immediate, and comes to me under grace in perfect ways. And I love that, under grace in perfect ways, that, you're the caller, you're the creator, you can do this. And maybe something like, I give thanks that all the money, all the prosperity, all the abundance is now mine by divine right. That, do you think, ask this to ask yourself, do you think God wants you to be abundant? Do you think God wants you to be prosperous? Well, what's the answer to that? The answer is absolutely, because why do you know that? Because God is abundant. And you're made in the image and likeness of God. So since God is abundant, has all this air, this sky, these trees, I'm on my condo on the 15th floor, and I'm just looking at this massive, beautiful scene of, clouds, and there's just endless sky and endless trees and endless leaves, and there's so much abundance, endless money, that endless money is here, and that, there were no billionaires 50 years ago. Now there's over 400 billionaires, not to mention millionaires that are here, and so and that have created. And where does the money come from? And where it comes from is our deliberate intention. So a little about prosperity and abundance for you to really just captivate and immerse yourself in that And then with that, back to our agenda, then we're going to look at our mission and our purpose. We're going to look at the different areas that we live in, and then finally prioritizing our personal and business life. So with that, then, and again, I would suggest that you write down this, that as you hear some things that are ahas, write it down. It'll internalize you. And, as a reminder, we'll be back again next week at the same time, same place, for our graduation and our final, where we'll wrap it all together, and everything will come together, and we're going to talk about emotional intelligence and the power of your emotions, that energy that you are able to create with your thoughts, and really bring it all together for you. But let's right now look at the 3 laws of the universe. And the first law of the universe, so like if you will just allow this to come in, and so the first law is that you're a leading edge deliberate creator. Okay, so we were all born leading edge creators. To become deliberate, that's what really we have been developing within each one of us, is our thoughts to be more deliberate about what we want. But this says a lot of things we are and a lot of things we aren't. By a leading edge creator, so if you ask yourself, why am I here? Here's the answer. The answer isn't, well, I'm here to pay off a debt. I'm here because of karma. I'm here to earn my way into a place called heaven. None of those things are accurate. That what our main purpose here is to create. And so we're creators. So when you take out all that other noise and all that other negative stuff about why you're here, that you don't have to prove anything. Like Oprah says, if you're born, you've already proved it. You're amazing, and you have these amazing bodies, and again, this amazing mind that can be able to create all you can regulate, if you will. It's like you have a concierge in the sky, where you can just, and just think of, a really good, like the Ritz-Carlton and the concierge. Have you ever been at the Ritz and gone to or called the concierge or gone to them, and that they can get everything for you. You can ask for different restaurants, for transportation, for the best theater, that, you can ask and get anything that you want from them. And that's what all of us have with our thoughts. We have this concierge in the sky. And so all you have to do is ask and you shall receive. And so to be doing this asking and to be thinking about and really just immersing yourself at least a minute into these thoughts of abundance, then these thoughts of prosperity and good health, and thoughts of a thriving business and ideal referral partnerships that, we've talked about attracting ideal referral partners. And we have had incrementally millions of more dollars of real estate generated, and it was all because of your intention. We have had, just one deal for like $13 million, another deal for $2.5 million. You guys have been, communicating with me on all the deals, but not just those big ones, but on a consistent basis on getting more business. You just heard Chris say, yeah, it was the best week of my life, and that's what you want to be able to say, and that be in this state of appreciation, because as you just appreciate, wow, it's the best week of my life that I've ever had, that what will happen as you think about that for at least a minute is that you're going to get more weeks that are the best weeks that you've ever had. And isn't that what we all want? In fact, every one of our desires is because it will help us to feel better. And so we're all looking at this feeling, and that's what we're really after, is the feeling behind what we want. And so as long as you have that feeling, like of prosperity, like of a thriving business, that God will deliver to you that prosperity and that thriving business. And so that's what you are. And so to recognize, so any of the other trash, if you will, that you heard before about who you are just isn't true, and know that you are a leading edge deliberate creator. The second law is that only well-being flows. And so this means that flowing to you, and so just imagine coming down on you, if you will, kind of like rain, okay? That the only thing that is flowing to you is well-being. The only way you can cut off that well-being is with your negative thoughts. And so your thoughts about the things that you don't want. And as you do that, what you do is it's almost like you put an umbrella, if you will, over the rain, the well-being that is flowing because of those thoughts of the things that you don't want and those negative things, the things that make you feel bad. And then you have that umbrella and you don't have that well-being fully flowing through you. Now, you don't have the power to completely turn off all the well-being, but you do have the power to turn off a lot of it. And so you'll never get completely disconnected from source, from God, but and the way to get more connected to us is to be able to think about, wow, there's well-being, and I want to think about these good, positive thoughts on what I want and what will be and the way that I see it to be as I do. So what does this imply? That if only well-being flows, that means, and this is really critical because I think all of us at one point or another, at one time or another, maybe even within the last day, maybe the last hour, have thought that maybe something's working against us. Okay, like there's some devil working against us or whatever, and that, I share with you that there is no devil other than your own committee and in your thoughts within your mind where you have bought into the contrast and think that that's how it is. And so you may think that, wow, there's, lack and limitation. And I'm around people that I work with and help, and they're always fighting for their lack and limitation. And I said, stop it. You got to stop fighting for your lack and limitation and start, instead of fighting, and start feeling good and feeling relaxed and being easy and thinking about all the things that you do want. In Christ's time, the word sin, and this I got out of seminary school, that the word sin was an archery term, meaning you were off target. And so the only sin that you really have is your own thoughts that aren't on target. And what are on target thoughts? When you feel good. So whenever you're thinking about thoughts that make you feel good, that you will then get this full impact of well-being that flows to you all the time. And if you don't believe that, if you question that and you say, well, I don't know if well-being is flowing to me all the time, that just think about your body on that. You don't have to think about, hey, I need to start up my heart this morning, or I need to get my circulation going, or my digestive system going, or, none of that stuff. That there is just this well-being of life that is flowing through you and with your breath. In the Bible, spirit, that actually means breath. And so be focused on your breath in this, just that deep feeling. And go ahead and do that right now. Just breathe in and breathe out. And it's your fastest way and the easiest way for you to connect with your source. So know that only well-being flows to you. The third law of the universe, and the final one for today, we'll give one last one next week. But know that cooperative components rendezvous with your thoughts. And so this is a very powerful statement and understanding and law to understand and just realize that, hey, you're a leading edge creator. Only well-being, only good flows to you, and that cooperative components rendezvous around your thought. So a negative example of that is when you've had a really bad day and you say, oh, it just can't get any worse than this, and then it does. Well, that's this cooperative components rendezvousing. And that's why when your business now has started to get better, that I guarantee you that it'll continue to get better and better and better. In fact, all of you, each of you that are on the line right now, because you are and you're intaking these thoughts, that this is taking you to a whole new level, a higher vibration, if you will, where you're closer to these godly thoughts. And that what happens is, as you have these better and better thoughts, that God then gives you even better thoughts that creates then for you a better life. So the other day, I think it was Saturday morning, I was driving along, and I actually stopped and I took a picture of myself because I was just in such a state of glory. It was in my car, and I realized that, and this thought struck me, that when I come up with the ideas, okay, when I'm just thinking like, oh, I got to figure out how, that those aren't godly thoughts. But when you allow and you ask for godly thoughts to come, then all of a sudden you'll have godly thoughts come to you, and they'll just be miraculous thoughts. So yesterday in Top Performers that we're doing in Austin, that one of the agents said, yeah, I had this thought the other day about to call this one person. And I had just got out of my joy shop. I was being deliberate and calling forth new referral partners and more referrals. And this lady's name came up, and I hadn't talked to her in a couple of years, whatever. So she really didn't even know what to say to the lady, but she went on her intuition. She went on this nudging, if you will, and she decided to call this person. So she called this person and said, hi, I just kind of was instructed by God to call you. So how are you doing? She goes, oh my God, it's so wonderful to hear about you. I was just thinking about you, and I need you to list my home. And so that's these miracles that happen, okay? And so our thought can go anywhere. It doesn't have to be like, so prayer, when I was working on my PhD, in fact, studying for my PhD, that one of my thesis was that prayer actually works, or thought works, okay, being a mental scientist, and in exchange, you can exchange thought or prayer or whatever. And so what we did is I was able to get agreement with Moffitt Cancer Center, and they're all cancer patients, and this one wing we prayed for. And so we had kind of prayer warriors, if you will, that we prayed for. And then the other wing, we didn't pray for at all. We didn't think about them. We didn't do anything with them. And then we had looked at their current health, and then statistically, we had some people at the University of South Florida go in and then statistically look at if there was any improvement in the wing of the people that we prayed for. And we didn't know the people personally or anything, that we just prayed for our thoughts. And again, we didn't use the word prayer. We used our thoughts that we're going to think just that they're going to have better health, and we see them as being healthy and being at ease, because cancer is really just dis-ease, and so we were praying for at ease. And so to be clear, what we weren't praying for is, oh, I hope they don't have cancer anymore, because that creates more cancer, okay? So we were just thinking all the things we did want. We wanted them to be healthier. We wanted them to be at ease. And so there was a statistical significant improvement in their health on the wing that we prayed for. So prayer can go anywhere around the universe, anywhere around the world, whatever. And so that means that you can, when you pray for that actually your thoughts, when you're thinking in your joy shop about different ideas, that these prayers, your thoughts of, for example, asking, I'd like to have a referral partner. I love having a referral partner. And by the way, two beautiful birds just landed on my porch, and that's all just God stuff, and they just know, like, they're chirping away, and they're just singing, and they're all happy, because we're all one in this all together, and the animals, nature, and everything on this. And so they're just coming to say hi and say, hey, good job, Hankers. Way to enlighten others and yourself. And so, let's all just, open up our minds, open up our hearts to, thinking, yeah, that I have this power. So when I'm thinking about, like, and I'm in my joy shop, and I'm saying to myself, what do I want? I really want to have more referral partners, and then more referrals, and really good referrals in higher end neighborhoods. And I just love the idea of all that. And as you say that goes into the minds of other people. And so, for example, that one lady where she got her name in her head to do that, well, that's a godly thought coming in. That isn't her going through lists and figuring out, who she has and doing stuff she doesn't want to do and making cold calls or whatever. That's her just being easy and trusting and believing that there is a God that answers our prayers, and that I'm just I'm sharing with you the mechanics, if you will, on how it works, and you're part of that you have to have the thought of what you want in order to get what you do want. So anyways, that's just amazing. And so these cooperative components go around, and that's why each one of you can start saying, and you can write down, that my life is now getting better and better, and you will see that your life is getting better and better. So those are the three laws of the universe: your leading edge creator, only well-being flows, and cooperative components. And one last point about cooperative components. One of the reasons why we have a tendency to believe we aren't the creators is because certain things happen to us and we say, well, I didn't ask for that. And I'll give you a personal example. In August, when I had my miraculous car experience where it literally it totaled my car and my body, and so most people would say, well, gee, Dr. Hank didn't ask for a car accident. No, what was I asking for? I was actually asking for just some amazing opportunities to come to me. But because I was on such a goal place, doing, okay, and then if you do, you get a lot of do, that what it did is it pulled me back, that miraculous car experience. It slowed me down in order to hear about the EXP opportunity. And that, I'm telling you, is just a blessing. It's the whole new way of, doing real estate in the real estate industry. And it's something that I just love sharing the good news with agents that aren't with EXP on this is the best news. I've been in this business for over 20 years, and I've never been able to tell agents that they have 3 streams of income, and they can have revenue sharing, and they can have, stock. And I had somebody email me, and I had sent out a marketing flyer, and they said, oh, is this you trying to recruit? And I said, no, I'm sending this out to change your life for the better. And because, this isn't about recruiting. This is about changing your life and having passive income and having your dreams come true. And so, and with that type of attitude that you just know, and that type of confidence, which is instilling in all of your minds and hearts right now, that you're on the right path, you're with the right company, that, EXP is the place to be, and for you to be eager and anxious and can't wait and to attract more and more agents. I just had another agent join today. It's just so fun to be able, and she was blessing me. And in fact, it's worth even sharing this story that, normally I take them through a webinar or I meet with them one-on-one in my PowerPoint. And it was Saturday morning, and I got a contact from one of my agents that said, hey, I got this one agent that, could you contact them? So I called this lady, and God, we just hit it off right away. And because I attract harmonious people that get it, people that are open. And so I talked to her for about 15 minutes, just a little about EXP and whatever it is. And she goes, oh, that's fantastic. Where can I sign up? And so she has been trying to sign up, but we just had a few problems with actually her sponsor and properly signed up yet. And so anyway, so today she did. But just know that everything is flowing to you, and just to feel good and know that this is it. So cooperative components, that's why you believe that you're not the creator, because God will actually do those things, okay? That miraculous car experience, that's the contrast I needed in order to be on my lighted path and get what I was asking for. And so everything that happens, realize that it's being guided by God. When it doesn't feel good, it's telling you that, hey, I got to get off of this. I got to be doing something different. I got to be thinking differently about this subject. And so the fact is, though, that you are the creator of your life, every bit of it. And it's just those cooperative components that makes it bigger on whatever it is. And so if it's something that you're thinking about bad, it just is making it badder, if you will, for you. Okay, so those are the three laws of the universe, and now I'd like to get into, hey, any questions? Anybody have any questions or comments about any of that? And so let's see. Okay, no questions, and so let's.
Well, Dr. Hank, I would just like to say you are awesome and right on time. Now that I figured out how to unmute myself, this is Felicia.
Hey, Felicia. Well, thank you very much.
What this experience has done for me, man, you have changed the climate, which my atmosphere is just going crazy. So I am just so excited to be excited this morning. Or is it still morning? But I'm gonna sign off and let you finish. But Dr. Hank, I so appreciate you.
Well, thank you, Felicia, and you're just the best. And love you, girl, and that's fantastic. And so, yeah, and so just to realize to be easy with all this, and again, this is, you know, this is different than a lot of the beliefs that you had before, and it's a different understanding. And I'm sharing with you, it's gonna lead you to, you know, the things, your dreams and desires, and believe me, God is happy about all of this. And then let me just see here. Let me go. There we go. And so let me talk about, we're going to switch gears. So those are the three laws of the universe, if you will, and by keeping those in mind, and again, next week we'll do one more when we wrap it up next week. And now we're going to switch gears, though, into prioritizing our life. And I had asked you to print out a couple of those attachments. If you don't have them, it's no big deal. Just get a piece of paper and a pen or whatever it is, and to be able to write down some things, because we're going to actually look at our month of June now. Normally this is done previously. It's the most productive time that you can have in your month. I usually take about 2 hours, and it really sets you into the strategic thinking, in the green zone, into being able to really understand here's the things that I that I desire, and it looks at our different areas in our personal life. It looks at our business life, and it creates this ability for us to write it down. You know, we've been told, like the Bible has told us, our word is very powerful, and you create with your word. And the reason why that is because your word is articulated thought, and so that word is, well, also the writing is, by you writing it down, that it really puts energy into it. And so this is all about energy and putting this loving energy, divine energy, into your thoughts, and then from your thoughts into your words and into your writing. And so to actually write down these things, and that's what we're going to do right now today. And again, normally 2 hours per month, and you do it before the month begins. In this case, you know, we're in the first week, whatever, of June, second week, I guess, of June. And but we're going to kind of practice, if you will, on this June, and then every month you'll be doing that, and you have the soft copy to print that up and to have the discipline. I would plan, in fact, right now on 2 hours on when are you going to plan your month for July. And so maybe you want to do that like the last weekend of June, like the 24th or the 25th, but to be very intentional, very deliberate, or if anything, July 1st is a Saturday, so maybe, you know, it's a good time, Saturday or Sunday, in order to plan your month and plan it the way you want. Now, for us, June 2017 is only going to come one time, and it's here. And so how are we going to make it the best? And this is the way that you're going to make it the best. You start thinking about what you want and telling your new story. And this important thing about telling your new story, and a real easy way to start telling a new story. See, in your mind, you have your old story about, you know, I really had a rough upbringing, and my dad did this, or my mom did that, or, you know, my peers did this, and, you know, then it was tough, and this bad thing happened, I got a divorce, and all that stuff. Just forget that old story. That what I want you to do is look at every 5 years of your life and look for the most brightest, wonderful thing. I can think the first 5 years of my life, I can think of me as a little boy, and even though I had a very abusive father, I remember I was walking down the sidewalk with him, and we were going to the circus, and I was so damn excited about going to that circus, and I was just this little 5-year-old boy, just happy as a lark, even though that my life was basically, I could say a lot of other things negative. That's my new story. And then 5 to 10, it's the first bus ride I had with my grandmother, and I thought it was just so amazing to see the tall skyscrapers, which was in Milwaukee, so they really weren't all that tall. And but to me, they were, and it was just amazing. I felt that freedom of being out of just, you know, the car or the block, the neighborhood, that, you know, I was on a bus, and this big, huge bus. And so anyways, you can start taking and telling a new story, because as you start telling it in a positive way, that it's going to raise your vibration, so you're closer to God, so that you're closer to these godly thoughts, that you can attract all the things that you want. And so you are now pre-paving your day using the Joy Shot, and now your month. And again, you only get it once, and so let's go make it good. And so the first thing I'd like you to do is go to Mission and Purpose. And so to take a look at your mission and purpose, now what I have up there is to feel good. And why is that? Is because the next week we'll really get into this in more depth. But to feel good is, that's where God is. And so I want to be aligned and at one with God. And so I want to feel good. That's our communication system with God. But your mission and purpose, like years ago it was, I wanted to become a millionaire. I wanted to have a $1 million consulting company. I wanted to be the best dad. I wanted to be the best husband. I wanted to have good health. You know, I called forth all of those things. And when you call forth them and just think about those things, that it's only possible to get them. So I achieved all of those things that I wanted. And now, as I have even gone to a new level, if you will, that was important to me at that time, and it was great. But you'll see that your mission and purpose will start to, just as what you want starts to change, so your mission and purpose will start to change and start to raise higher. And so I have called a My Time, and that's a time management system. That's a hard copy time management. And why is it hard copy and not electronic? Is because I want to write it down, because I know, being a mental scientist, that it helps by us writing it down, that it helps to internalize that information of whatever we're writing, whatever we want to be, do, or have. And so in every month is this actual process of monthly planning. So I just went to the front of my June, and I have for my mission and purpose to feel good, and then I have to live my soul's life. And again, I already shared with you on how really that's what you're here for. And I mean, if you really want to feel good, just ask your soul to take over, ask God to take over, and man, you're going to be flying even higher than you already are. Because if you look at where you were a month ago versus where you are now, think of the progress that you've done. Well, Brenda says, my upbringing. Brenda, okay, yes. Brenda, go ahead.
Okay, so last time when we were in class and you had been talking about your past and creating a new story, it was kind of neat that I had been talking to my mom like a week before that, and we were, you know, just talking about, you know, parents and how you kind of take after your parents because of habit, and that's what you know. And, you know, number one, I chose to raise my kids different than I was raised. I just took what I didn't want and set it aside, and then used my instincts and raised my kids different. But my mom had made a comment that, you know, I'm sorry, you know, that you guys, you know, had such a bad upbringing, blah, blah, blah. And I said, Mom, I don't want to recall anything bad. I remember, you know, not having that much money, but, you know, we made it, and we did, you know, we went on family vacations, and, you know, my dad was big in sports, so we'd go to his, you know. So I told my mom, I says, I don't think I had a bad childhood. I mean, yeah, we had 4 girls and only one parent was working, and, you know, I said, but I don't see it as, you know, that you have to apologize for that upbringing, because I don't see it that way. And I was going to, express that last time that we, got together, but, and I don't see it that way. Yeah, there were some things but I choose to remember my dad in a really good way, and in family vacations and, playing out in the, climbing trees and all that good stuff that, that you do as a kid, and not see that we didn't have money and all this other stuff because we made it work. We did.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So, yeah, but I just thought that was funny that me and my mom had just been talking about that like a week before, that when you had brought that to class.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and yeah, like even with like my abusive father and whatever, and emotionally, like he was shot down in World War II and was in a German prison camp for 13 months, and didn't know if he'd live the next day. They didn't know if they'd have bread and water the next day. It was just some stuff. So he was psychologically messed up, and so in bringing us up, that he loved us, but he didn't do, a very good job, if you will, about it. I bless that man, my dad. I'm so happy he was that way, because he made me the best dad in the world. Because like you said, you picked up, hey, that's what I don't want, and then the things that you do want, and what guided you, like as a mother now with your children, is you went to, in essence, you probably weren't conscious of it at the time, but you were looking, hey, what would feel good to me, okay, and then what would feel good to my kids, and so two things the way that I brought up my children is, number one, to let them know that they had the power to create, be, do, and have anything that they want. And then the second one was, instead of telling them, I showed them unconditional love. And I'll tell you, my parents, and that's why you never want to honor the opinion of the God of other people's opinion, because we say, we look at it as God sometimes. This said that, the whatever, the news said this, or my parents said this. But I remember my parents saying, like, oh, you're spoiling your kids so much, they'll never turn out to be anything, and this is just wrong and bad, and all this stuff. And I just blanked them out and said, hey, I'm going to raise my kids the way that I want to, and I know that is the right way. And those kids, they're all grown up now, and they're just awesome. And they're not spoiled or whatever, and they're very productive and all that good stuff. So that's wonderful, Brendan. Thanks so much for sharing about that story. Okay, and so with that, get back to, and any of you can, interrupt at any time, and sometimes I get going, like my eyes are closed, my arms are going all around and everything as I get, into channeling, and so sometimes I'm not looking, like Brenda had left that note. I don't know when she left it, but I just happened to see it. But, you can just butt in anytime if you have any comments. So back to this mission and purpose, that what I'd like each of you to do is look at what is your mission and purpose. And so, it could be, there is no right or wrong answer. It's what do you really want to be? Kind of think of it as, I'm at A and I want to go to B, and what does B look like? What does it look like in 10 years or 20 years, or what does it look like tomorrow even, that how, or right now, that how, what's my mission and purpose in life? And so, it might be to be independently wealthy. And so some people say, oh, that's so selfish. And again, we're back to absolutely, there's nothing but selfish. You can only think or feel for yourself. But one of the things that I have, in fact, I just wrote down in my monthly planning, I wrote down, the more I make, the more I can give. And isn't that a great attitude? Just thinking, turning that perspective around. The more I make, the more I can give. And that's why I like to make lots of money. And that's why I love to have passive income, so I can have more time to be able to relax, be with God, be able to help, all the people around me. And as I thrive, all the people around me thrive. So again, write down your mission and purpose here. And And again, if you don't have the sheet, just, write down mission, purpose, feel good. And so even though this is monthly planning for June in the month, that mission and purpose is more kind of out there, and that, hey, what is it? Who do I want to be? What do I want to have? And just so it may be that, I want to just be happy. And that because when you're happy, the world is happy, because whatever you are, that's what you're going to be able to shine off to the world. Then in personal goals, looking at personal goals now. So we're going to look at business goals, but this adds balance to your life, and that don't necessarily need a lot of time, if you will. It's the quality of time, and it's to be intentional and deliberate on it. So family and home. And so for me, I wrote down, so what do you want to do in June, family and home? And so I wrote down that I want to have the most loving and wonderful time at my youngest son's wedding, where he's getting married in Ireland, and I'm flying about 20 of our family members out to Ireland, and he's getting married, and they're going to have 240 people there, and it's just going to be a blast. So I wrote that down, and the next day, my youngest son, Johnny, calls me and he goes, "Oh, Dad, I just want to tell you that I'm so excited about this wedding, and we're going to have just so much fun, and it's just going to be so loving." And it's like the same words that I had used about the way that I wanted it, and he's repeating it back to me. And again, it's this power of your thought, and how when people are open to these godly thoughts and in a receptive mode, you want to be able to receive all this good and so my son was in this receptive mode, and that he did that. And so that's how that wedding's going to be. It's just going to be the most miraculous, wonderful wedding. But you could do things like this month that maybe it's, hey, I'm going to have a date night with my significant other every week, and then actually plan it right now and say, hey, Friday night we're going to do this. Saturday night we're going to go to this really nice restaurant, and you normally can't get in for 2 weeks, so I'm going to have it the third week in June. I'm going to schedule it in and surprise him or her or whatever. But it's being this deliberate, intentional being and creating the type of family and the love that you want with your family. And no matter how they are right now, you can make them better. Remember, because we no longer believe that we can't change other people, and we've already heard from Brenda, and we already know that this is the law, that I'm the creator, and I can create people the way that I want them, and so I can create even a deeper, more meaningful and loving family. So that's on family and home. And then financial and career. And so we're going to look more into detail on that, but it might be the overall, and what do you want to do, financially and career? And so it might be, I want to allow $20,000 into my checking account, or, whatever number. It doesn't matter the number. It could be $100. It doesn't matter. The point is to start being deliberate and start to attract and asking for, example, more money. Okay, because money just is freedom. That's it. It's not the root of all evil and all that other crap we were brought up on. That it's just more freedom. It gives us more choices, more variety. And so financial and career, it might be, hey, I'd like to recruit one agent. You just need to recruit really 8 agents a year, and in 5 years you'll be you'll make $1 million a year. And so it's just one time at a time. So yeah, I love the idea of recruiting one agent. I love the idea of closing 3 deals, whatever that is under financial and career. So write down that. And then mental and educational. And so for sure, I would put down that I'm going to send you an MP3 about some of this information. Again, we're off agenda most of the time, which I love. And but you will have an MP3 where you can hear some of this information again. And I suggest you listen to it at least 6 times so you can be exposed to these new ideas and just accept these new ideas. One of the poison pills you can take is, oh, I've seen this already, or oh, I know this already. That's all just BS, because, it's about you doing it every month and you having a system. And so this is a system in order to be able to strategically start thinking about your life and the way that you want it. Mental and educational could also be as easy as, I'm going to only think good feeling thoughts. and I would write that down, that I want more good feeling thoughts. Start asking for that. As you start consuming yourself with all the things that I have said to write down throughout the weeks here, that as you consume your mind with those, that you're going to have such an amazing life. You're going to have more money, and most of you have already shared with me more business. We just heard they had the best week and ever. That these are the things. Just keep on thinking about them, no matter how it is, because you don't want to look at what is, because then you'll just get more of it. So don't look at what is happening. That's just previous thought that's accumulated into what you're looking at. That it's what will be. And this is how I want it, and then feel it as though it's here right now. And I just love having a thriving business. And you could be easy, like on financial and career, you could be that easy and just say, hey, financial and career, I want a thriving business. And the more general you can be, the better. And so be starting out, be general, and then you can get more specific and, like more referral partners. Under physical and health, that maybe it's as easy as, I did this about 3 months ago. I said, I'm going to attract healthier and more delicious intake of food and water, of anything that I intake. And I have just had some amazing experiences on some delicious food that has been healthy. And I got this turkey sandwich place that I now go to that I just love, and it's healthy. And Sharon brings up out of the blue, hey, you should have bone broth, broth from like chicken and beef, and that it's just so healthy for you, that broth, and to be able to go in there. So, so I got a crock pot out and got a bunch of organic stuff and cooked up this broth, and it's just delicious, and I love it. In fact, I'm going to have it right when we're done here. Then I'm going to have this broth, but broth is just like healthy as all can be for you. And so, but see, by you just asking for it, and if anything, again, be general and say that I call forth better health. I want to be healthier. I love the one on I'm getting younger every day. Maybe write that one down. It's a fun one, isn't it? I want to get young. I am getting younger every day. I'm getting younger every day. And so stop looking at your wrinkles, stop looking at your fat, stop looking at what's aching. Start looking, that's just what is, okay? Start looking at, hey, what do I want to do? I love being thin, trim, fit, viral, filled with just the energy of God in me. And you keep on saying those things, and there's nothing but that will come to you. And then social and cultural. And so, we've all been so blessed. We have this wonderful world. We have our lives. We have our families, our loved ones, our businesses, the XP opportunity. I mean, really, just everything is so good for us. And so what are we giving back? What kind of, are you searching? Are you asking to have that higher vibration? Are you looking at stop criticizing other people? Stop looking at what you don't like and just thinking about, wow, this person, and just call up a person and tell them about a really good other person. Okay, get used to talking kindly about other people. No matter what's going on, just forget talking about it, because if you continue to talk about, oh, that person did this and this, that what you get is you'll just get another person that's this and this, and create more unhappiness, because you are the creator, and the cooperative components come to you. And so there's a perfect example on how that happens, and where you just forget about it and say, you know what, I'm going to start calling up whoever I call up with a bitch about people. I'm going to call up and I'm going to talk to them about somebody really nice and kind and sweet that was to me. And I don't care if they're here now or, this was 20 years ago or whatever. But when you start looking for harmonious people and kind people and sweet people, that they'll start coming out of the woodwork for you. Okay? So it's this idea about giving. So it could be giving to a charity or church, whatever makes you feel good. Being a kind neighbor, saying hello to your neighbor. Stop the prejudice on, oh, they were this way, or they're driving this, or they don't take care of their grass or whatever. Just stop all that stuff and look for the good in every person, and you'll start seeing the good in you, because anything that you're criticizing out there is really about you. It's your issue that you have, that look for the good, and the good shall come to you. Amen? Amen. Can you be the presenter? Let's see. Can you get on that? let's see. I'm not sure when you left that. Oh, I think that was one. Well, no, maybe a few. Belinda, can you just say, I don't have you. You can talk right now. Just
Hi.
unmute. Oh, there you go. Hey, hi.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. What's going on, girl?
Oh, nothing. I was just in my craft room sewing, and Rudy reminded me, get on the thing. And I said, oh, okay. So I got on a little late. But I'm here.
No biggie, no biggie. That's great. Well, welcome. Do you have any good news to share? I think I just saw, how many closings have you and Rudy had in the past, like 2 weeks, something like that on Facebook? Can you share that with us?
We've had 2 closings.
I was going to say 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Hey, good morning, Rudy.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, we got a referral for you too. There's some more business for you from Sydney Porter that she's in San Diego right now, but she's going to be back this weekend, and so Monday I think she's going to call you with a lead for you. So there's some more business, but you guys have been rocking, haven't you?
It's been rocking. I mean, I've got business coming in from San Antonio, from Austin, from Virginia.
Oh my God.
I've got a call in from a guy in Colorado. It's been crazy.
That's fantastic. Yeah, crazy good, and we just love it. And so that.
Oh yeah.
And Rudy and Belinda actually were in top performers the first one this year, and now the second one. And they've just grown so much. It's just so amazing, and I just love you guys and so happy for you.
Love you too. Thank you for everything that you've instilled in us. It's a wonder. It's just awesome.
Yeah, well, what I remember, in fact, I think it was last night, in the middle of the night, I woke up and I thought, the most beautiful thing is when you shared with me, Belinda, that you always ask for more for your children, but you never ask more for yourself. And you started doing that now, and now you guys are just, you're happier, you're higher vibration, everything's just coming together, and it's good to ask for yourself. That you have to. We were born to have desires, to want, okay, that's who we are. We're desire guys, seekers, and freedom seekers, if you will, and that, that when we're happy, that everybody around us is happy and are happier, and we can uplift them. And so you've just been a blessing, Belinda, on how you've decided to help yourself. And so you and Rudy have helped yourself and been able to really align yourselves with God.
Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you for coming in. We're glad you're with us. And so back to our personal goals, so social and cultural, giving back that we talked about there. And then, let's see, my computer stuck on me. Let me see here. There we go. Okay. And then the last one is spiritual and ethical. And again, not in any specific order, but spiritual and ethical. And really, if you want to be spiritual and you want to be one with God, and you want to do what God's will is, etc., that you just need to feel good. And so one of the ways you can do spiritually is, I want to feel good, because that's our communication system that we'll learn about next week. But when I feel good, that means I'm aligned. I'm at one with God. And as far as what is God's will is for you to ask. And so you're here to be able to experience this beautiful world of contrast, birth these new ideas, and give growth to all that is, to God and all that is, and then to be able to have it. But most people birth those ideas but don't get it. They don't get it in their experience because they don't allow it in. They don't have that belief. And so now you have instilled within you the belief and knowing that when I ask for it, I can get it, and I am going to allow it in, and I am going to be the receiver of my good. I deserve this. And that's another big, big point about people don't feel that they deserve it, that they feel they're unworthy, that I'm sharing with you that every one of you are worthy. Every one of you deserve this abundance that flows endlessly to you. And so God wants you that. God smiles on this. And so for you to be abundant, God is abundant. God wants you to be abundant. And for you to be able to go ask and know that you deserve everything that you ask, and know that when you have the thought of whatever it is that you want, that God has the power to deliver it to you quickly and easily. And again, all for you to be easy, relaxed, breathing deeply, and knowing that all of the good, all of what you want is coming to you. Amen. Woo. And so now let's look at business goals. And again, we're developing here on monthly planning, and it typically takes me about 2 hours to do. And now business goals to focus on this month. And so I've written down a bunch of ideas for you that, attract ideal referral partners. And do you know who your number one referral partner of all time, forever and ever is? It's God. That's your referral partner. Ask, hey, partner, buddy, I want this in here. I want to have this. And that's my dog barking. And so for us to be able to say, yeah, God is my partner. That's my biggest referral partner for everything that I want. Now, when we usually talk about referral partners, we're talking about business and referrals into people that are looking to buy or sell their home, and so you can attract them. But your big referral partner that will give you everything that you want is God, okay? And then to attract out of the blue. And so all kinds of things out of the blue to attract, clients, listings, to attract more laughing, more laughter and more smiles, more good times, and more joy and more freedom and more growth. And so just to start thinking about, out of the blue, that all of you have demonstrated one way or another some out of the blue things. Some of you have called it coincidence. Some of you initially thought that, it just happened that way and there wasn't really any logic to it. But I'm telling you, this is an amazing, creative, intelligent world and God that we have. And so everything is, can you imagine all the coordination on helping you when you ask to coordinate all the people and the circumstances and the events and the thoughts in order to give you what you want? It is brilliant. And so we're dealing with this brilliant co-creator, because we're co-creators. We ask and God does the how on giving it to us. So think about, out of the blue on how we can do that. And then to allow what? Allow you not to really earn, okay? Earn kind of sounds rough and tough. It's kind of like work. But no, instead what I want to do is I want to allow large sums of money to easily and powerfully flow into my experience. Amen? Yeah. And so you do that and it'll be there. And to expand your imagination. I'm telling you, there's all kinds of business out of there. Rudy just shared with us, and he's getting business from all over the country right now. And, it's coming out of the blue. And I'm telling you, Rudy didn't have that kind of business back in January, okay? And that he created that with his thoughts and the abundance of wanting more, and that then it just comes to you out of the blue. And it's also those cooperative components. He didn't ask for a client from Virginia. What he asked for is for more clients, and that he was open to clients anywhere. And then all of a sudden Virginia comes in, and San Antonio, and all the different places where he's getting business from. And so it's all fun, it's all good, and know again that everything is getting better and better for you. And then to business goals, and again, it's a business goal that I want to be deliberate in my thinking and feeling. And so I'm going to pause, and I'm going to pause before I do my next activity, and I'm going to say, what do I want most next? What do I want most next? What do I desire most next? And that you start to say, hey, I want this meeting to really go well. I don't care how the meeting went before. I don't care how the people are before. You heard Belinda talk. No, not Belinda. you heard Brenda talk, recently today about how she was able to change a person, and literally change a person to this client. This client was, kind of stuck up and thought she knew everything and da-da-da. And she decided, hey, I'm going to change that client. And so she went and met with that client, and that client changed right before her own eyes. So that's a power that we have. So you start thinking about the way you want it, not the way it was or how you think it's going to be. And one of the most important things here is stop being guarded. And so that's where actually Brenda was saying, oh, but, I kind of prepared a little speech in case they were, real ornery and, stuck up and know-it-all and everything. Stop preparing that. You don't need to prepare anything because it's not going to happen anymore because you're just thinking about what you want, and then you have to have faith, though, in God that God is going to deliver that, and then it'll happen. So then you do combine. So the next step now is we've looked at all our personal goals. We looked at all our professional goals, and we want to say, hey, what top personal and business goals? So we want to prioritize, and this is, the success unit has been about prioritizing our life. And so now we've looked at our business goals, we've looked at our professional goals, and I want you to right now identify out of all those, what's the number one top personal or business goal for you? And so go ahead and write down that. And so it might be, hey, I want to really build these deeper, more meaningful relationships with my family. Or it might be, hey, I want this thriving business. And like if you have a lot of business goals written down, that maybe just summarize it and say, yeah, I want a thriving business, okay? So I want a thriving business, deeper, more meaningful relationships, and better health. And maybe that's your top three that you want to prioritize. But you want to prioritize, and you can, again, kind of clump some of the subjects together, that are the same, and be able to really say, yeah, these are the things that I want to be, do, and have in June. Because I'm sharing with you, because you're on the line right now, that you're going to have a better June than you would have had. And you're going to have, when you do this for July, you're going to have the best month you ever had. Okay? And just plan for it, expect it. And remember, Abe, allow, believe, and expect. And so allow it in and allow July to be the best month you ever had. And what the heck, why don't we just have June be the best month we ever had too? Amen? So just call forth it. And because there is no time, it doesn't take it's not hard at all for God, and there is nothing big or small in God's world. And so God can make a thumbnail or a castle. It doesn't matter. It's all a matter of what you ask for, and then you receive in there. And so be thinking about, yeah, these are the things that I want, and also time-wise that you're going to have the best June you've ever had, as long as you believe, hey, and expect I'm going to now have the best June that I've ever had. Amen. Oh, man. Okay. And then we look at our high payoff activities. And so this page, and again, this should be one of your pages on high payoff activities, but typically the most important high payoff activity you could ever have is to be able to look at on your thought, and for me to, I want to be delivered. So that is my joy shot. That is my monthly planning. That is my deliberate episode intending. Remember last time we talked about deliberate episode intending. Before every episode, I'm going to deliberately think about what it is. So that's your number one high payoff activity, is because you're going to start calling it the way that you want it. Yeah. And then the next high payoff activity, if you want to be a little bit more practical with high payoff activities, that you could include things like a high payoff activity of that I want to meet with a referral partner every day. And so that's a great one. Okay, I want to meet with at least one client, a prospect or client every day. And then the next one would be follow-up. So basically meet with referral partners, meet with prospects and clients, get them to clients, and then follow up. And that follow-up is so important. And if you're like a high I, you'll have a tendency to not be very good at follow-up. And so you need some type of time management system in order to do that. And for you to really be good at, hey, I'm going to, like every time you make a commitment to someone, write it down. and then make sure that you respond, and whatever you said that you would do, you do. And when you follow up, people start really liking you because you do what you say you're going to do. And it's all easy and fun. Lighten up about everything. Lighten up about everything in your life. That it's no big deal. Let's lighten up. Let's enjoy ourselves and realize that all our good is coming our way. So that's, and then the next high payoff activity I would say after you do the follow-up is you close and then ask for referrals. And there's nothing better to get a referral than from a previous client, and they're a great referral partner for you. Now, there are also personal high payoff activities. And so that could be prayer, reading the Bible, or, joy shop, quality time with my family, getting it out in nature. That I would suggest that each one of you, if you can, take a little walk or get out to the park, do something, but get out in nature, that you're part of God. God is nature, and everything is God. Okay, so God is nature also, and there's such a smooth subtlety and a way to start really aligning with your soul and to talking with your soul and to being with your soul and walking in one. And for us Christians, walking with Christ at one, hand in hand, walking in that park and seeing the birds and the dogs playing, the children fish. And I was at a park on Sunday, and they were just getting such a kick out of catching these little 4-inch fish. And it was just so delightful. I just sat there and just loved them. There was a crane that was standing there, beautiful white crane, and then he was watching the kids fish because he was waiting for them to throw back the fish, because then he was going to go have it for dinner or breakfast. I was actually there in the morning. But, and then the birds chirping and the little squirrels hiding and running around, and the grandpa with the grandson, and I mean, you just get into this nature and this beauty and the way life, this world is, and this beautiful world, and how blessed we are to be alive in it. And so again, just ease up, and the more, if you could just hang out in nature, I'm telling you, you get all the business that you want, because you're in a state of allowing that, and you're allowing the things that you ask for and letting God do the work. The concierge in the sky is God doing all the work for you. The Father does the work, so you just need to ask, go out into the parks, and come back, and you'll have a ton of business for you. And isn't that sweet, huh? I love that. And then the imperative project list, important project list. So if you have some, EXP prospects that you haven't been doing a good job with, put them on HubSpot.com. It's free, and put their name, their contact information, and just start getting into some type of CRM process to do it. So that's not an imperative project list, but it's important. If you want to really build, I just had another agent join, and he said, hey, I talked to you in December, and I don't even remember talking to anybody in December. And he goes, yeah, I talked to you in December, and man, I've been just beating myself up for 4 months for not doing this, and so, I got to get back into it. And I said, well, great, welcome aboard, and it's actually been 6 months. And so, but imperative project list, maybe there's an imperative project list that you need to do. We have this new leads program that I am offering CXP agents, and that training is going to be Monday 10 to 12 in my new office. I have a new office in Dallas, and so I'll be sending you that for those of you that signed up. But it's like, hey, you want to make $9,000 a month? Here's the way to do it, and the training is just exquisite. And you'll get training every 2 weeks on how to convert prospects into clients, and just some amazing stuff and some information that you're going to learn about the internet and everything. And at the same time, you're going to have the opportunity to probably earn around at least $9,000 a month. So again, if any of you are interested, and I think I emailed that out to all of you, but if you are interested, like I'm almost packed, I think I am over packed in that room. But we don't have training much as far as this initial training that's mandatory that you have to go to. But, it's just another, just more opportunities, and if you don't do that, and here's the beauty of, you can do whatever you want to do. Just choose and just go do it, and God will lead you to the best outcome of that. So you don't have to be, too concerned. Don't procrastinate. That's one thing that, people get in the way of is their procrastination. Just make the decision. And I'm telling you, just have faith. You make the decision. God will take you to where you want to be. Okay, and then the 1 to 31 tracking sheet. Now, I actually sent this to you originally in week 1, and we didn't talk too much about it. But basically, this is the days of the month, and 1 to 31. And so under personal goals, so let's say under personal goals, Joy Shop. I want to do that every day. So it's a daily activity of either thought or something that you're actually doing. And so you put down Joy Shop. And so today is June 8th. And at the end of the day, you review this 1 to 31 tracking sheet. And one of the things you would say is, did I do my Joy Shop today? And if you didn't, put a dash. If you did, put a check. Or if you did 2 Joy Shops, put a 2 in that little box. And so if you look up at the screen in that box on the 8 there, I'd put a little check mark there, okay? Business goals. Maybe it's to talk to a referral partner one a day, one referral partner a day. And either talk to one that's existing or one that you're asking to become a referral partner. Because really all you need is 10 good referral partners, and you'll have all the business that you want, and it's free and it's easy. So, and it's, it's friends helping friends. It's just a sweet spot to be, and that's why I focus so much on referral partners. But if you say, hey, under business goals, I want to see a referral partner, meet with my referral partner at least one every day, and then check that off. And so then go to the little box at the end of the day and say, hey, how many did I talk to? Yeah, I talked to 1, and put a 1. What it does, it hits your consciousness, and it reminds you on what's important, because your committee can take you off onto some other road that's a dead-end road where none of your desires are, and get you doing and thinking about other stuff and, making cold calls and whatever. And whereas, wow, wouldn't it be great to be able to get back into that? Yeah, how do I get back into what I do on the Joy Shop? I'm a referral partner. So these are things you want to write down, and then at the end of every day to be able to look at, yeah, did I do those things that I want to do that I know will make me happier and more successful both personally and professionally? So that's the 1 to 31 tracking sheet. And then your success steps. That, first of all, listen to Success Unit 4, Prioritizing Your Life, at least 6 times. And so again, get this information. This webinar I have recorded, and so I would suggest that you listen to it again. That it's going to be about, an hour and a half, and that it is just packed loaded full, that if you just listen to this, like if you would listen to this every day or at least once a week, for the next 6 months, you'd have it made, because everything you want is in here on how do I be able to manage my life and call it the way that I want to. That then complete your monthly planning. So in this case, it would be June, and then I want you to today schedule. When am I going to schedule my July planning? And again, I'd probably do it like the last weekend of June or the last few days of June, 2 hours to sit down. It's the most important 2 hours that I do, and I review my previous month to make sure nothing fell through the cracks. Maybe people didn't get back to me like I asked them to or whatever, and then I start creating my month very deliberately in the green zone on what I want and doing it intentionally. And then meet with at least one new ideal referral partner this week. Next week is our last session together, which will be a rocking session that really sums it all up and gives you the last missing piece in order to put all this together for you to really send you on your happy way to your glorious life that you have, that you deserve, and that you have always wanted. And so with this last week, hey, why don't you go up and pick up a new ideal referral partner? And you can do that just by asking and just think about, oh, I just love those referral partners. And think about one person that's given you several referrals referrals. Think about how much you love them and how easy it was for it and how you helped their people to do it and how much money you made on it. And just get into that whole thing, and you'll attract, and all of a sudden you'll get a godly idea, right? Somebody's name will pop in your head. So who's popping those names in your head? It's God. And so right when it pops in your head, you write down that name and you say, thank you, God, because God is always supporting you, loving you, helping you, bringing you everything that you want as long as you allow it and don't have these interfering thoughts about what you don't want. And then watch this webinar again until you believe it, and do your joy shop every morning. Just know that that is so important. And again, I have other joy shops. So like if you find yourself really not paying attention or whatever, that you want to emotionally get involved. This is all about, this is an emotional, energetic world, and you're the one that controls it. So you want to get emotional and make that swirl like a funnel, like a tornado, okay? Think of yourself as this tornado, this love tornado, that you're just creating this energy, more and more energy of what you want, and all the abundance and the happiness and the joy, and the laughter and the smiles, and it's all coming your way. And then you can always contact me with any help that you may want. And I'm telling you guys, I just love you, and this has just been an amazing session, and I appreciate all your input, and I can feel your vibrations. You guys are just humming away, and you're going to have just an amazing day, an amazing week, and amazing life. And so before we leave, any other comments or questions before we leave? All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you so much. Love you. That we will see you next week. And yes, did you have a question?
No, I just said see you next Thursday.
Okay, Belinda, it sounds good. Love you, girl. Love you,
Love
guys.
ya.